Hope can be the great killer when it comes to movies, and Blue Beetle is no exception, with a history that includes being on the cutting room floor at DC to being promoted all the way up to having a movie release and supposed initial reactions actually being positive. Blue Beetle is unfortunately a shallow shell of a movie. Hi everyone, Nico Liro here from the Silver Screen Dudes, and this is my review for Blue Beetle. You may have seen from my instant out of theatre reaction last night, I had huge hope for this movie. It's not gonna do bucks, but we may have a little hidden gem on our hands that may gain steam and may gain traction through positive word of mouth. And I hate to be the guy who was batting so hard for a movie only to then be the person who turns around and says, I can't in all consciousness recommend that you would go and see this movie. And here's why. Every single stereotype known to man and known to cinema seems to have somehow magically found its way into this movie. The power of love, it's in there. Believe in yourself, it's in there. It is your destiny, that's in there. My family makes me strong, that's in there too. And it goes on and on and on. This is literally tip of the iceberg, what I'm describing. And the plot is so poor that literally less than 24 hours removed, I may indeed have trouble telling you what the plot is. But it's typical cookie cutter, run-of-the-mill stuff. Newly graduated Jaime Reyes has all the hopes in the world, but who he is and where he comes from is going to count against him. So fast forward a few years and we find Jaime, who had aspirations of being this big millionaire lawyer, down on his luck, scraping gum off of the bottom of a table, only to come into contact with one of the other main protagonists who, through means of saying, hey, let me give you a job because you stuck up for me. Now he goes and meets her for a job, but he ends up with this Blue Beetle scarab who takes a liking to him and turns him into an unwilling superhero. Who knew? And all this is down in no small part to a terrible script. A script that has decided to take every single trope known to man. A script that has decided to copy the DNA of comic book movies of yesteryear, and indeed of every movie seemingly of yesteryear, and just inserted it in, trying to make a cohesive narrative. If you've watched anything more than 5 movies ever, you will be able to say, and they're going to drop a comedy line in 3, 2, there it is. And this character is going to die because that's what they set up from the beginning. In 3, 2, there it is. The whole thing is so predictable, and it is so predictable because it is generic. And we're talking about archetypal characters. The one thing I cannot get my head around, you've cast a powerhouse like Susan Sarandon. I have never seen her so bad in this. I mean, it's like she wasn't trying. If she had a mustache which you could twirl, that would fit. Mustache twirling villain to the highest degree with, I was betrayed and now I seek domination. It's like, oh my God. I thought we had moved past all that in this realm. It's bad. And it's formulaic too. You could literally, it's copy paste for every single act. Character exposition, comedy scene for a bit of levity because the character exposition was hard, action scene to make you forget about the exposition, end of Act 1. Copy paste for Act 2 and 3. But look, I don't want to be that guy to say that the movie is a complete bust, because it's not. There are some redeeming things in this movie. The absolute standout is Cholo Maridueña, who plays Jaime Reyes. Now, I've never watched Cobra Kai, but I know Cobra Kai has got a huge following. He is excellent. This kid is believable, he's endearing, he's charming. I genuinely believe he has got a wonderful career trajectory ahead of him, and I can't wait to see it unfold, because I really like this kid. He's like a Latino Tom Holland. You just can't help but root for him and like him. And leading into that, because his performance is so good, that actually equates to his relationship with the Scarab, with the Blue Beetle, symbiotic relationship he has. Really believable. And, you know, this Blue Beetle, which is almost kind of like Iron Man's Jarvis, for lack of a better contrast and comparison, it's fun. Now, the action scenes, when they do happen, as I said, they are fun. The problem we have is that because ultimately we're a superhero movie, so everything does feel a bit stakeless. There's no big stakes here. You know that the hero is going to be okay by the end of it. So it all just becomes visual noise in a world where we have had so many comic book movies between this and Iron Man in 2008. To be a good comic book movie and for your action within the comic book movie to be memorable, you have to elevate the genre. This doesn't do that, so it does boil down to visual noise, but it's certainly not the worst visual noise I've seen. It's actually a lot of fun. Like, the fight scenes with Blue Beetle are genuinely quite fun. There's not enough of them, but they do feel fun. And a last huge positive I have to give the movie is the family dynamic. While the characters are all kind of like your typical archetypes, what the movie ran the risk of doing was going down the virtue signaling form, and it doesn't do that. It portrays this family of minorities as genuine, believable characters despite being archetypes. You never feel like there's a pushed agenda or a forced agenda. It's actually handled quite beautifully, and the ultimate message of, family does make you strong, despite being so tried and tested, they do get that message across without it ever becoming offensive. It's endearing. So in conclusion, it saddens me to say this, but I genuinely can't give Blue Beetle more than a 4 out of 10. The lead character is great. Cholo Maridueña is going to have a great career ahead of him. The family dynamic is good, and the fight scenes are fun. But none of that can hide the terrible plot, the mustache-twirling villain, the tried and tested, repeated, copy and pasted, seen it a million times before plot. It just has nothing new to offer. With a movie like this, it doesn't need to reinvent the wheel, but it does need to at least feel fresh. And this movie sadly didn't deliver on any of that, which is a crying shame, because the performance from Cholo deserved more than the vessel with which the performance was delivered. It's not a good time to be a comic book movie fan, sadly. But what do you guys think? Let me know down below. And if you haven't done so already, please do like the video and subscribe to the channel for daily movie news and discussions right here on the Silver Screen Dudes. There should be another video right about here somewhere with one of our most recent videos and a subscribe button right by my shoulder. So click on that if you haven't done so already, and I'll see you guys very soon.